Hey guys, welcome back. And this is an interesting one. So I did a video on this a few weeks ago. This race swapped Robin Hood, where they took Robin Locksley, aka Robin Hood, the traditional Anglo-Saxon white English nobleman's son who becomes a outlaw to steal from the rich and give to the poor, and replaced him with a Gen Z African American young woman in a hip hop band named The Hood. And they're from the projects, basically, this building called, I think it's Sherwood Heights, or is it, I can't remember the name of it, but basically the long and the short of it, it's just like this urban, woke, transformed version of the original story that's meant to appeal to a modern audience, as you can see by the casting here. The villains are these two. I know, shocking, right? So we've seen this time and time again. We've seen this with the race swapping of classic historical figures such as Cleopatra on Netflix, where they swapped the Macedonian ruler of Egypt with a African American woman, which again, Cleopatra having roots more with the Greek part of her heritage, not anything to do with being African. We've seen Ariel and Tinkerbell now race swapped for Peter Pan and Little Mermaid, and neither one of those movies did well, let's be honest. They've tried to sell Little Mermaid, the live action, as some sort of success, and it just has not done well in theaters. I don't think it actually made any money. I think it barely got to where it covered its costs of marketing and production, and that was about it. Even things like this, and I've seen people defend this on social media, talking about how it's not the same thing as Ariel because this is all fictional, this Bridgerton show. But even that being said, it's still kind of the same thing. You take a traditional English royal family, even if it's not really people that existed, and you turn it into this weird, diverse, alternate reality. And I guess if it's maybe an alternate reality where racism and slavery were never a thing, and you didn't have different societies separated by culture and ethnic heritage, that'd be one thing. But it just seems weird to me to try to cram all this diversity into a show that would typically encapsulate people that are all the same ethnicity. Just my own thought on it. Well, this is one here that I saw shared around on social media around the same time that I did that Robin Hood video. And I didn't think about it until now because I wasn't quite sure if it was meant to be a parody or a comedy or what, so I just got off on a different topic and never went back to it. But Jay-Z is producing this this movie called The Book of Clarence, which is basically a race-swapped version of it. If you want to think about it, from what I can tell, compare it to something like the Monty Python's Life of Brian. Although, unlike Life of Brian, which basically is this poor guy who lives at the same time as Jesus, but his life is terrible, whereas Jesus is going around becoming famous and everyone loves him, minus the Pharisees and a few people. This guy, Brian in that story is just, his life sucks. His life is crap, right? This seems to be kind of the same thing, except it has apparently a lot of undertones of the Black Hebrew Israelites who, for all intents and purposes, as I've ever been able to determine, are basically just a hate group. So this is the article from Bounding in Comics, and they get a lot more to the religious aspect of it. And again, I don't want to bore everybody. If you're not religious, it's not something you're going to care about necessarily. But it definitely pushes the line about what is and is not blasphemous, in my personal opinion. I do agree with that. So it says, a film that would have been called racist if it was written by a white guy presents the character of Clarence as a drug dealer who uses the popularity of Jesus Christ in what seems to be a desperate, dubious attempt to make some easy money. The film reimagines Jerusalem as a majority black population, a belief held by many in the Black Hebrew Israelites who think themselves to be the true descendants of a lost tribe of Israel and charge white people with censoring history to deny their Jewish heritage. And this is where this gets into Jay-Z's own personal beliefs and things that he's believed, again, allegedly associated with the elitists in Hollywood and the Illuminati and all that. And it says, in an interview with Ebony, Samuel, who is Samuel? I might have skipped that part. Oh, sorry, the director of the movie. It says, Samuel emphasized how important portraying ancient Israel as black is to the narrative of the film, declaring, as much as we love these films, there are no black people in there. What happens when we, people of color and powerful women, occupy and inhabit a space? I knew I had to put our spin on it and inject our flavor into it, he elaborated. Rapper Jay-Z would double down on Samuel's claims and further push the narrative that black people were in fact the center of biblical Jerusalem, noting that the director is fearless and a genius. So basically, it's the idea of pushing this narrative that the true Jewish people were black and not, from not Hebrews, not from that region. Apparently, the true Jews were African American. And so this guy goes on to basically make himself a fake Messiah, even declaring himself to be the Messiah. They replace Mary Magdalene and John the Baptist with, again, black people. It seems like most everybody except for the Romans are black in this movie. So I guess for me personally, it'd be one thing if I didn't know that they had this black Hebrew Israelite perspective on it. I mean, look, I grew up religious, but I can watch Life of Brian and find it funny. I found the South Park movie funny, and it's plenty of people would call that blasphemous. Everyone's going to have their different take on things they're offended by, to each their own. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But I definitely think this is, yet again, it's not just some silly comedy or something where they're just portraying the main characters as black. It seems to be this push to both, let's say blackwash traditionally non-black characters or historical figures on top of pushing this black Hebrew Israelite message, which for all intents and purposes is definitely not a very peaceful message. But let me know your guys' thoughts down below. I find this very interesting. I'm very curious to see how this turns out. And yeah, leave a comment down below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you did, and we'll see you on the next one. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching the video. We do have 2 channels, one for daily uploads, the other one for more of my live streams and hot takes. Links to both are down below, as well as the ability to join as a channel member for as little as $3 a month, and that'll greatly help us out. Much appreciated. We also have links to our Etsy accounts down below, as well as our website. We also have Locals and Subscribestar. If you didn't want to support us on YouTube, you can support us through those. Thanks again for being here, and we will see you on the next one.